What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in to On the Ball podcast. Got a lot to get into. You saw it in the description. We're doing another tier list tonight. We did the running backs last week. Had so much fun with it. We're going to revisit our quarterback ranking, but we're going to put them in tiers. I got it set up, ready to go, but we do have some other things to get into before we get into that. But even before running that down, got to introduce co-host Brett, not guarding the 2, he's guarding the 3. How you doing, Brett?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk sports. Let's get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we'll touch on some NFL, NBA, and even WNBA. But I think WNBA will be the perfect place to start with this one. Because this past weekend, they held their All-Star game where, the stars align and they showed up. What's going on, Trajan? They showed up. They played in an exhibition game, and I guess the customary thing now is everybody craps on All-Star games. People talking about there's no defense, the this and the that. I think the T-shirt part of it was playing into it as well. But my main question is, are we holding All-Star games to an unfair standard in 2025? Like, are people expecting way too much from these athletes?
I mean, it's funny because people, I think, get kind of a warped reality of All-Star games because we did have a couple of good ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is most of them are just exhibition, high-scoring, like, blowouts. Like, we're talking about, we had, like, a really good, I think, like, 2-point All-Star game, for example, in the NBA in, like, 06, but that's more, like, special than the norm. The norm is just exhibition, have fun. We get some more times where the intensity cranks up, but I think a handful of All-Star games, kind of like people like go watch like the best All-Star games. They'll watch some of the early 2000 ones that actually had close games and think that's just every All-Star game, when in reality, the All-Star game just always has been an exhibition game where the stars get together and mainly just have fun.
Right. Yeah, and these players, especially with these leagues having them mid-season, the more important prize is at the end of the year. So these athletes aren't going to sit there and go all out in a game that doesn't affect the standings in any way, to risk an injury, which will affect the actual team that they play for and their chances to win a title. So, I mean, I kind of agree with Trajan. It's like expecting way too much. Like, this is the standard. Like, the athletes are there to just have fun. The crowds seem to love it, but it's always the people who like watch on TV that have the biggest problem with it. And I feel like we kind of need to move on from all of that. What's going on, Carmike? Need to throw all the All-Star games in the trash? I don't agree with that because the All-Star games are for fans, and like a lot of these crowds is like a lot of kids who may not get to see all these athletes in one place. Like that's the main purpose of it for me.
And that's why I think that it should always stick around. Like, even if you don't, if you think the game sucks and don't want to watch it, like even for like just the people that attend or in the city, like this could be like maybe their only chance to see some of these guys live and
Mm-hmm.
maybe meet some of these guys. So I definitely think that's something that should keep around. Say and yeah, so I do disagree with that too. I think even just keeping them around to meet and greet some of these younger fans and create some more lifelong fans is a plus.
Yeah. Football's become flag football. Look, the players seem to enjoy the flag football more than the Pro Bowl as it was, because you were asking guys once again whose season ended were kind of sitting home for like a week or so, and then they were like, "Hey, come play in a Pro Bowl." They were never going to go all out in that. Like at this point, where everybody's worried about branding, which a lot of that has to deal with this. Where if you get injured, what does that do for your brand deals? And everything like that. So, Carmike's talking about they're soft. I don't, maybe they're just more conscious to other things than players back in the day. Maybe that's all it is.
Also, I say also a lot of these players care about their legacy and
Yeah.
what do people only want to talk about now? Playoffs and ring culture. So
Mm-hmm.
I think to an extent, like some of this, discourse around players' legacies probably have a hand in ruining the All Star game and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's face it. I mean, Dame won the All Star game MVP, but it's not like anybody is using that to boost up his time in Milwaukee. It was a failure because, well, they didn't do anything in the playoffs. So
Mm-hmm.
I've always said this. I think with the regular season and the All Star game, like part of making it important again is we as fans and like the networks and everything have to treat it also as it's if it's important. So I think kind of like everybody just dumbing down the regular season and like the All Star game and just going all in on ring culture has also kind of led to the decreased quality of some of these things.
Right. Yeah. And so y'all okay with them playing hard for the gold medal with no real compensation? A player gets hurt in the Olympics, then what? Olympics is that's representing your country. And
I'm also anxious when I see like Giannis in the Olympics.
right, but it's hard to tell a guy that they can't represent their country because to a lot of athletes, like that's the biggest thing. Like you win a gold medal for your country, especially a lot of these international places, like you're revered as like a god almost.
And
And there's more importance on it there. Maybe not so much US, I guess, in terms of like fans look at the Olympics, but
well, even in the U.S., it's like people hold the Olympics in really high regard because it is representing the country. It's like the one
yeah,
like time a year every 4 years where all of a sudden everybody's united and you
that's a
know
good point.
when
Yeah.
you represent your country in the Olympics, it's kind of seen as a badge of honor. So I think that also the fans and everybody just kind of hold that in a much higher regard than the All Star game and half the time the regular season also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, because Carmack's talking about All Star games back in the day, East versus the best in the West. They played hard back in the day. I feel like we are so removed from that trying to make that happen today is just a lost cause. That's why I'm like, I think we're holding it to an unfair standard because we're not going to get that. It just is what it is. That's just how it is. And whoever we need to blame for that, whatever. But it's like every year people are holding out hope it's going to go back to something that it's never going to.
Yeah,
That
no, at this point I just hope next year that we get a decent game and they don't pull all the shenanigans like they did this past year.
right. Like we've set the bar so low that we're just like, hey, don't just allow a guy to come across half court and then do standing aside and just letting them do a dunk. Like that's the bar that we're set for the NBA All-Star game. Like play a little defense. Like you know, play some Trae Young level defense.
I was going to say 3 of the 5 games this year so far were decided by 10 points or less. So, like, we've gotten some competition.
Yeah.
I really like what they did with the Elam ending. I still don't understand why they got away from that. I think that worked out much better. Because it seems like players did lock in a lot more when there was a target score at the end.
But the problem is the players hate everything. Like they hated the little tournament thing that they tried. They hated the captain selecting like the sandlot type of thing. They hated that. And look, they've all been talking about, yeah, we want US versus the world. Watch. When they do it, there's many players going to say they hate that too. It's like the players are their own worst enemy in this as well. Over 21.
I mean, that
But
sounds
looking
like
at that,
fun.
Steph Curry would never have played in the Olympics because he only got his first opportunity this past Olympics. He'd have been well over 21. So I get where Cuban's coming from. I don't like that one necessarily.
And it's going to be great if they do USA versus the world, because I think the world will just absolutely destroy Team USA.
Well, then I kind of hope for that too, because then maybe that'll give the U.S. players a reason to care.
Say when we're looking at the top players in the league, they're all like international players. So
yeah, that should cause some type of drive with the U.S. players. And also, in the fans, stop voting in these guys just because, like the legacy guys, they don't deserve it. Don't vote them in. That might help too, because some of these fan vote, are just wild to me.
The fans, it's so funny. The fans are like, half the time you're just kind of like, why do the fans even have a vote? Because I get it, it's for them, but their voting half the time is just so rough.
I mean, maybe that'll make players love it a little bit more. Because it's a point now where, like, if you are a top player, the first time you get in, you could basically write yourself in like every year. So it's like, why take it seriously? And look, I've talked about the NBA All-Star game enough with the competitions and everything and how top players don't play in it and everything like that. Now, if you want to talk about that part of it, then yeah, I do have a problem where, LeBron never doing a dunk contest or what, or, I don't think John Morant's done one. I think they even asked Ant, like, I think a couple of weeks before the season ended, like, would you ever do one? And he was like, nah, not really. And I was like, well, that's not good going forward. But, things can change, I guess.
Say half these guys are just in-game dunkers. They're not creative dunkers. So it almost makes sense for like LeBron, for example, the dunk one, because
But
LeBron
acting
isn't
like these are like real judges. These judges don't care. If LeBron went out there and did the most basic dunk, they'd give him a 50.
I'd say they'd probably have LeBron win just for showing up, honestly. But
That's why I'm like, that's why I didn't understand why he never did it. Not like it was like some Olympic level judges. These were just ex players. So that part I didn't get. I mean, good thing the 3-point contest guys actually want to be in it. At least that's the saving grace right now.
so you gotta get that 1v1 tournament going.
And they won't do that either. Because the
No,
minute a LeBron loses to like Draymond Green, it'd be like, oh, I'm never doing that again.
There's a lot of really good like 1v1 players that are just like role players, but would absolutely dog walk a lot of people in 1v1s. Like, we can pick on Cam Reddish all we want, but he'd like dog walk half the league in ones. Like, and I think that's what a lot of these star players are kind of scared of. Like, there's always those like hidden talents where, yeah, a guy might not be good in a 5v5 setting, but you unleash half these guys in like that one-on-one setting, and I don't know, half these superstars are going to get knocked out a lot earlier than you think. Like guys like Kevin Durant would be fine, but there's a lot of guys who would just struggle.
Hmm. I mean, they got to try something. Seems like Silver's willing to try anything at this point.
I'll give him credit for that. Like at least
Yeah.
he's not just sitting on his butt and just not doing anything. Like he's actively trying.
Hmm.
So all the credit in the world to that.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let's since we've kind of crossed into NBA with All Star Game, let's talk about a couple of players who made a little bit of noise for I guess free agency period. Start with Dame. You was a Bucks fan, Dame bought out. A lot of people were wondering where Dame was going to go with his next uh, contract and everything. He decided to go back to Portland, where it all began. He's loved in the community and everything like that. His family was still up in the Pacific Northwest. I've seen fans on social media talk about L move. He clearly isn't a winner. He's not trying to win a title. That's soft. And look, not everybody wins titles. I'm I respect his decision because he explained it where he was like driving the car like with his daughter or something. They stopped at a red light. I think he turned around and looked at her and was like, "Yeah, Daddy's signing in Portland." And she was like, "Oh, so that means we don't have to get on a plane anymore." And I was like, "That right there, I have no ill will towards him going back to where his family is to like round out his career. His legacy is what it is at this point. Sure, it'd been nice to see him win a title, but like he's prioritizing happiness. I can't hate on him for that. Like, what do you think about him going to Portland? Were you surprised he decided to go back?
Um, no. Well, right. You would think he'd want to compete, but at the same time, I can't hate on him too. Like if he's just trying to be closer to his family, that's great. And obviously, Portland paid him more than all the other teams really realistically could, and gave him a no trade clause. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't really hate on Dame for wanting to go back home. So I'm happy for him. If Dame's happy, I'm happy. I respect him and love him for his time in Milwaukee, and
Yeah.
the people that just go after him are weird. You'll appreciate this, Kyle. I saw somebody go, "Man, Dame's dead to us. He's such a loser, running away from the grind." Mind you, this guy was a Miami Heat fan. So my first thought was like,
Heat fan.
why? Like, if he wants to go win a title, why would he go to Miami? Like, what? Who's winning in Miami?
Heat fans are look. If there's Heat fans watching, they can be like that annoying little Eastern Conference fan base. Like they swear the Heat culture. They swear by all of that. Remember, like during the free agency, they were linked to like everybody, even though you were like, who are y'all trading to get all these players? You have Bam Adebayo and you have Tyler Hero. That's it. Nothing else you have anybody really wants, and you think you're getting all these big name free agents. So yeah, any Heat fan trying to talk about Dame being whatever, it's like, I mean, Carmack said, look, Dame's gonna sell tickets. Like that first game where he obviously had to wait a little bit, but that first game he walks out onto the floor in Portland is gonna be crazy. That crowd's gonna go nuts. You figure the presentation's gonna be like next level. And for Portland, they're not really going anywhere. Although they have like a sneaky, interesting roster now once Dame does come back. But
Hey,
yeah, good for them.
Portland was in the East. I could say that they'd be probably a play-in team. They could be a sneaky play-in team this year, but it's just so tough in the West that
Yeah.
it's hard to predict if they're going to actually make the jump that they
Mhm.
potentially could.
Yeah. True. But all right. The next player I mean, Carmike, I know you're a Laker fan. LeBron, all the rumors about LeBron being traded. He opted back in to the Lakers, but then the story came out that he mulled going to Dallas to play with Kyrie Irving again and AD. Yeah, sure. I guess looking at both situations, this might be hard to really like answer, but did LeBron make the right decision going back to LA versus going to Dallas?
Um, Ironically, he'd probably fit better skill wise than in Dallas because you have two guys in Kyrie and Anthony Davis that can play off of his skill set. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
when we're looking at LA, Luka and LeBron have quite an overlapping skill set. It really depends, right? If LeBron still wants to be the guy,
Mm-hmm.
then Dallas. If he's okay taking a secondary role and a lesser role offensively, then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, stay and play with Luka. Get the easiest buckets of your life. At the end of the day, whether he made the right decision, if that's true or not, really just all comes down to his preference. Like, he still wants to be the guy, then yeah, he should go to like Dallas. If he's okay with taking a back seat, then yeah, just hang out, get paid, and get some easy lobs from Luke all season next year.
What's going on, Jory? Decision should have been he retires. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, look, part of that we know. This is Chris Paul's retirement year. LeBron was never going to share that spotlight. But
So,
in 2025, a 1 year old LeBron, I guess he'll be 41 in December. Can he be your main guy? Because you're talking about if he went to Dallas, he would be the guy. Are you winning at a high level with 41-year-old LeBron being the guy in 2025 in the West?
are you winning a title? No, but obviously, if you were talking about Dallas, like we're talking Anthony Davis and Kyrie could also take some of the load, and
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Flag would be learning under him because I know for a fact that Dallas would not send out Cooper Flag in that trade. So
True.
it's one of those things where he'd be the guy, but he'd also have help and enough help that he could also like take breaks and rest when he needed to. But no, I don't think LeBron is. I don't think he can be the number one option on the championship team anymore. Those days are over with. It as soon as he suffered that groin injury in 2021, those days eluded him.
Okay. Also, Lakers did sign. Well, they plan to sign Marcus Smart, even though I've seen somewhere that they'll need to make kind of like a minor move to create room for him. But assuming they do that, what does Marcus Smart bring to the Lakers next season?
Um, Missed games and an extra name on the injury report. I
I
mean,
mean, if you look at his past couple of seasons, he has missed a lot of time.
In all reality, Marcus Smart, he brings toughness. He brings still can play defense at a good level,
Mm-hmm.
and he brings he can shoot inconsistently at times. He's streaky, but he can provide some spacing. Like
Mm-hmm.
ideally, you're getting a 3-and-D guard, but mainly he's there for the defense. I will say I'm waiting for the Lakers fans to turn on him because you know this better than anyone, Kyle. Clutch time Marcus Smart is the most hilarious player to watch
Yeah.
because he is just bombing heat checks
Yeah.
out of nowhere. And I'm just waiting for the Lakers fans' reaction the first time, like, you watch
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Smart waving off LeBron and Luka so he can bomb away a heat check 3.
Look, he's a guy, like you said, late in the game. If you swing it to him and he's like on the wing for three, he is launching it. And he will have some nights where he'll go like 5 for 8 from three, and you'll be like, okay, love it. But Laker fans, you're gonna have to be prepared for those like 2 for 9 from three nights where you're going to want to rip your hair out because Marcus Smart has the most confidence in his shot. And even if you look at last season, his splits between Memphis and Washington, that's the whole experience. Like in Memphis, he shot like 30% from the field and like no, it was like 30% from three, 32% from the field. Horrible. But then in Washington, he shot like 38% from three and 45% from the field. So that's what you're going to get. Night to night basis, you'll get one or the other. But defense, he'll do that. He'll dive on the floor. He'll get chippy with opponents. He'll do all that every night. It'll just be offensively, you'll have to live with the highs and the lows with him.
Yeah, no, I really am excited for that though, Kyle, because like the first time he does that, they're gonna be like asking to like cut him, probably steal his car and drive into the Pacific Ocean or something crazy. Like,
yeah, they'll start turning him into Westbrook because that's right. With Westbrook. Every time they lost, it was like Westbrook was the worst signing and all this. Yeah.
No, I think he can be a positive. I think at the end of the day, it's a great signing. Vetman, low risk. You got some high reward. And if he doesn't work out at a Vetman, you can literally just cut him if you really wanted to, or just set him on your bench and not feel bad about it.
Yeah. And he's a guy that if you had to play him off the bench, like he's not going to cause a whole bunch of like commotion or anything like that. Like he'll be fine with either role. But okay. So we got that NBA talk out of the way. Let's go NFL. And look at the NFL. I was watching First Take. That's where they talked about it. First Take without Stephen A. Not a bad experience, but they were talking about NFL rivalries and whether there's a lack of them. But they weren't looking at necessarily team to team because I feel like, and you probably would agree, like there's rivalries out there between teams. It's just, I don't know, maybe people don't think it's as, harsh as it was before, but they were looking for, I should say, the player to player. And they referenced the Brady Manning rivalry because I think Brady does like a weekly newsletter and he was talking about his time playing against Manning. And that's what they were talking about, that the league doesn't have those one-on-one rivalries, or at least enough of them. And that's hurting the league. Do you agree with that?
No, they exist. Like, I watch Mike Evans and Marcus Lattimore fight Marshawn Lattimore fight literally every other time they play each other. They definitely exist. Maybe it's not as frequent, but they're definitely still out there. It's funny because you normally only have like a handful of big rivalries between players in the league at a time. Like in the last decade, you could argue it was, Aqib Talib and Crabtree were always brawling every time they saw each other. That was on site. Evans Lattimore, Brady and Manning had more of a non-physical rivalry, but no, you can tell there's still rivalries. People really bring it when they see a certain player. Jair Alexander and Jay Jett has always brought out the best in each other, so I disagree with that. I think there's still plenty of individual rivalries that still constantly bring out the best in each other.
Yeah. Crabtree and Sherman. That was a good one.
Steve Smith versus literally every cornerback.
Anybody. Derrick Henry and cornerbacks was always a good one. The amount of cornerbacks that he just stiff-armed into oblivion. Like, yeah. I mean...
owners versus star pass rushers, apparently? Like...
And maybe that's where we need to look for them now. Because you get a lot of disgruntled players going at ownership. Like, that's where it is right now. You got Parsons versus Jerry Jones, Shamar Stewart and Hendrickson versus Mike Brown and the Bengals. You got Terry McLaurin versus the Commanders. Like,
Say Dak might have beef with Jerry Jones.
yeah. So maybe that's where the rivalries are now. They're just within each team. And look, training camps getting underway. You'll see when they have joint practices, you'll see a lot of chippiness there as well. Like I think there's enough animosity, I guess, that it's still fine. But you still have the team rivalries that are still there. Steelers, Ravens, that's always a good one.
Let's say,
Yeah,
with
Bears, Packers, amongst others.
the rise of social media too, like the rivalries
Yeah.
are now spilling online more than they were in the past. So, like I said, maybe people just look on the field, but I think if we look off of it too, like rivalries are definitely still alive and well today.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get into, I guess, the main reason for our show. So, like I said, last week we did the running back tier list. Now we're going to get into the quarterback tier list. If you remember, a couple weeks ago we did our ranking 1 through 32 for the starting quarterbacks, but that list was a lot harder than it probably should have been. The tier list we feel like will be a better representation anyway. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Like I said, I was prepared for this one. I got the category names and everything.
Is there a special category that's just LOL Saints?
I didn't want to do the Saints like that, I've been kicking the Saints down for a while now. Like, we'll just leave them there. So what we do have is we have the rookies, only because it's really tough to really put rookies into a tier when they haven't played yet. Now, maybe within the rookie tier, we might rank them as how we view them next season in terms of success. I got clipboard commanders. Those are your guys who are starting that probably should be backups in this league. Let's be honest. QB purgatory was like your average guys who might start half the year, and if they were replaced, you probably wouldn't be surprised if they make it through the year. The team will be okay, but nothing to write home about. Franchise fire starters are your guys who you feel confident in them running your team. They're pretty good. They're just not elite for whatever reason. And then the Summit Kings, that's your elite group. And look, we're not going to put too many guys up there because it's got to be an exclusive club, small enough to feel special. So those are our tiers. Those of you in the chat as well, you can let us know where to place these guys. If you agree with where we put them, we'd love to hear from you on that case. But let's go ahead and get started like we always do. Just start from the front, work our way. We've got Aaron Rodgers to kick off. Obviously, with the Steelers. He's advanced age at this point as well. Where are we putting him?
He's in a weird spot where, like, he's almost like a step above, like, QB purgatory because there's no shot he gets, like, replaced. And even in his down year, especially in the second half of the year, he was definitely above average. He is tough. Like, I don't want to put him in QB purgatory because that's just kind of mean. But he is like 41 also.
Right. Like, I would put him in purgatory because the age, and he's clearly, I guess they love using like the golf reference. Like, he's on the 18th tee. Like, this is it for him.
Yeah, we'll go QB purgatory just mainly because of age.
Yeah. All right, here now. Next up, we got the guy that everybody loves right now, Jaden Daniels. I feel like Jaden Daniels is probably
franchise fire
starter.
I think so too. Might be a rough year for him. They better figure out that Terry McLaurin contract soon.
I agree. I know Terry McLaurin said that he wants to stay in Washington. He just wants it to be at the right price. I guess for Washington, they're looking at him. I think he's about to turn 30, and we know how teams kind of get weary about guys when they hit that big 3-0. So I think they get something done. I feel like they wouldn't, do that to Jane Daniels in the second season to take away his top receiver. Next up, Sam Darnold, now the QB out in Seattle.
Oh my goodness. I really don't think Sam Darnold's going to be that good this year. Like it, clipboard. Like I almost thought about clipboard commander. Like, but I I think we're going to get really bad Sam Darnold. Kyle, I'll let you pick this one because I'm really looking at clipboard commander. That's really what I think about this year's Sam Darnold.
I mean, I think you could make an argument for that. I would probably put him purgatory only because he'll have some good games. He'll have some very rough games. And we're going to be looking at him late in the season because I do think there's a chance Seattle could be contenders in the NFC West or at least in the wild card picture. So that means late in the season, like in December, which Darnold do you get? Because remember last year, like you said, he really started turning downhill late in the year. And Seattle can't afford that to happen if they're going to be a playoff team this year. So I would put him in purgatory.
Yeah.
But
I think the challenge with Darnold is he kind of fell apart because the line started to fall apart, and the Seahawks O-line, they're just not. They weren't all that great last year. Geno Smith was under a ton of pressure, and that led to a lot of his down year. And Geno, handled it actually a lot better than Sam Darnold did. So you can put him in QB purgatory if you want, but I have no confidence in Sam Darnold this year.
Okay, we'll put him there, but wouldn't be surprised if he did drop. Yes. I mean, like you said, the line in Seattle has been an issue. So he's going to have to either make quick decisions or whatever. Because the wide receiver group out there, isn't bad. But, I don't know. That is going to be something to watch, how well he holds up out there. All right, next up, my guy Drake May. And I think for the second year guys, it's going to be interesting to see where we put them as well. I'm almost hating the name purgatory now because I feel like that's like your average quarterback. And I think for Drake May, I guess that makes sense for him in his second year. New offense again. He has to learn that and pick that up on the fly. I think he's obviously better than a clipboard guy because I think he is a starter in this league. I don't think he has the resume yet to really be a franchise fire starter, even though I think he is the franchise guy in New England.
I almost think that he will be. I think he could be this year. It depends how Diggs looks coming off that injury, because if Diggs looks like 50 shades of washed and he doesn't have any weapons to throw to on the outside, then he's probably just chilling in QB purgatory. But if Diggs is actually creating separation and he looks like the Stephon Diggs that we know he can be, then he's probably a franchise fire starter. He's almost in this weird, in between, could fall to either one. But like I said, I think it comes back to, is Diggs going to be healthy to give him a legitimate, reliable player to throw to?
And look, Diggs has he's avoided the pup list, so it seems like he's gonna be ready to go week one. Training camp, I guess, will show us a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, of course. He's doing cocaine in Miami during the offseason.
Hey man, we're putting that behind us now. He's not out in international waters anymore. He's back on. He's back in football mode. Okay, it's all good. I agree with you. I think Drake May has a good season this year.
I'm just saying, if we see him doing any smelling salts on the sidelines, we're gonna have to take a real deep look.
Mike Vrabel might have to slap them out of his hand. All right, so let's keep going here. Jared Goff, a guy
Oh,
who's crept up top 10 list this offseason. Where are we putting him?
he's weird in the sense that like he can be a quarterback that on a really good team that even gets you as far as the Super Bowl, but you know he can't like carry an offense on his own.
Right.
He's really good with the right pieces around him. So,
Mhm.
like in a sense, if your franchise fire starters need one of your requirements is to be able to kind of carry a decent amount of the offense on their own, that's not who Jared Goff is. But like he can get you into a deep playoff run. So he's almost like in limbo between like QB purgatory and franchise fire starter. So like
Yeah. Yeah, that is actually a good point. Yeah, he is a tough one. No, we'll put him there because I feel like he's shown, like you said, he can win. He's not a guy outside of like the Texans game last year where he just was just coughing it up left and right. For the most part, he takes care of the ball, and he leads them to wins. He's helped with the renaissance out there, but what's going on, J Dog? Better not put Stafford and Summit Kings on taking the briefcase. He will be coming up in a little bit. But yeah, I think Goff is a franchise fire star. I'm not mad at that. Justin Herbert, another guy who's kind of seen a bump in his reputation this offseason.
that man did it. That's the funniest thing ever. Like, what did Justin Herbert do to get a bump in his reputation? Like,
I
I
feel
think
like
he's
it's the Jim Harbaugh effect. I think
he's
people just
obviously
love Harbaugh enough that they bumped Herbert up a level.
right. Like, yeah, he looked great throwing right to the other team's safety in the first game of the playoffs. I need to bump him up on my list. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I do think he's a franchise fire starter, obviously, but
Yes.
at the same time, like, I still don't understand what he did to all of a sudden deserve this like bump that everybody's giving him.
I think, like I said, I think part of it is the Harbaugh thing. I think the other part is so many people are down on the Chiefs this season and feel like the Chargers are that team to like unseat them in the division. That is working into the to the Herbert conversation as well.
I mean, they can unseat them in the division, but as soon as the big game starts, is Herbert actually going to show up, or he's going to throw lawn darts to the secondary?
Well,
Like
once you make the playoffs, you're not dealing with Brandon Staley anymore. You got Jim Harbaugh.
that didn't stop him from throwing lawn darts to the secondary.
I mean, I don't know because I agree with you. I don't know where all this Herbert love came from because past couple of seasons Herbert was a guy that like you liked him, but nobody was putting him like top 10 conversations. Now this guy's like on the verge of top 5 all of a sudden, which is kind of crazy. But
Right,
like I like Herbert at like the talent, but like you said, he hasn't put it all together yet. So maybe people just being optimistic that this is the year we see the best Herbert. I don't know. J Dog says Geno Purgatory. Well, we'll get there, J Dog. Geno will be an interesting one once we get there. All right, this is where we gotta have an interesting conversation now. Jalen Hurts, because if you listen to Cam Newton, Jalen Hurts is the clipboard guy who's just lucky that he has like the Avengers around him and he just has to hand the ball off and throw those short passes.
The same short passes that Cam Newton would miss by 10 yards. Sorry, go ahead.
And I think, I mean, we've all seen the clip with Ryan Clark just going in on Cam Newton. I feel like Chris Canty and others on First Take talked about the Cam Newton situation. They all disagree with Cam. I think Molly might have said something where, slick Cam looks at Hurts and goes, if I had a team like Philly, I would have won. Mind you, Cam Newton had a 15-1 Carolina Panthers team go to the Super Bowl. They were pretty good. You look at some of the names on that roster, that was a good team. What they do in the Super Bowl? They peed down their leg. And that
Eh,
lasting image of Cam Newton looking at the fumble and not wanting to dive on it,
the
that was like the beginning of the end of Cam Newton.
the funny part is he dies on that fumble, and they're actually able to punt the ball away instead of turning it over right there, and it's a completely different game. Like you
Yeah.
handed the Broncos short field, and they just ran it in, I believe, with C.J. Anderson. Like Peyton Manning didn't have the arm to actually lead drives. Like the offense was terrible in that game. So
Yeah.
like it's funny, like Cam says, like, oh, if I was in there, like you had your chance at Super Bowl. You choked, you blew it, you
Mm-hmm.
lost.
Yeah.
Guess who didn't blow it? Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Like he had 2 better Super Bowl games than you did. Like
Mm-hmm. And look, this is the other part of it where they're using the talent around Hurts to hurt his case, which Chris Canty said, name a Super Bowl winning team that didn't have talent. He's like, I'll wait. But for some reason, they're making this special case for Hurts, even though, and look, if you're new to the show, you already know I am the network's resident Lamar Jackson hater. At least that's what I've been given. But Lamar Jackson's been on teams where he's won MVP, top 5 defenses, really good offensive line, great running back, and he hasn't been able to put it together. So what is it that Lamar's missing that apparently Jalen Hurts has, because Jalen Hurts has talent around him, but they perform better than Lamar does? That's got to mean something. But for some reason, it doesn't.
it's really stupid. For some reason, people always have this idea like, well, this person had a stacked team. They went to the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, well, newsflash, you need talent to make it to the Super Bowl. Like, no
Mm-hmm.
sport is a one-man show. And if you want to watch a one-man show, go watch tennis. But if you're watching football, you need a good team to make it to the Super Bowl. But you need a clutch quarterback and a good quarterback to finish the job. And
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts was, leading blowouts for a majority of the Super Bowl, or that
Yeah.
playoff run. The only game he really looked rough in was, the Green Bay game. Both teams looked rough. It was like really close until the end,
Mm-hmm.
but then he put up, 28 on the Rams defense that was giving people fits. And then he put up 55 on the Commanders, and then he hammered the Chiefs. Like, I don't know what more you want from him. Like, what more does he have to do to prove to you that he is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league?
What's going on, John? Richardson clipboard. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're spoiling anything there with that one.
I'd say
So I guess what
Richard.
hurts is he a Summit King? Is he a franchise fire starter?
I'm putting him in Summit King.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
not
he's
going
one.
to argue that, because
I
I feel like the fact that he is a winner, and even with all that talent around him, like he still has to make throws. He is the leader in the huddle. Like that means something. Those intangibles. So
yeah,
I'm not mad at that. I would have put him up there as
he
well.
he's a guy that I watched lead to a playoffs with Jalen Rager and like Greg Ward as his top receivers and like a rookie Devontae Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's led less talented teams to make playoff runs. And that team, I believe, had like the 17th ranked defense. So, like, he is talented. I still don't understand where the narrative is that he isn't, like, he's not some elite quarterback. That's what I said. I said we need another category just as LOL Saints.
I mean, if it comes to it, we'll add it. But
I'm kidding, by the way.
I feel
It
like
will be nice.
is part of it that stigma of Alabama quarterbacks. He was an Alabama guy, and everybody looks at Alabama quarterbacks and goes, "Oh, they're all trash." And for some reason, it's almost like people are afraid to believe in Hurts as an Alabama guy because they've seen so many Alabama guys just be Jags in this league, whether it's McCarron or whoever, which I think is stupid. But I wonder if that's part of this, where people are like, because ESPN even asked it, like, does Jalen Hurts need an MVP level season to change the narrative? And I'm like, now he has to win an MVP. That's what they're holding out for. Like, and if he does, who's to say they won't just say, well, Lamar does have two, so we kind of need to see him win another one.
Oh, they're saying he needs an MVP level season? Do me a
Yeah.
favor. Google 2022 MVP voting leaders. Yes, Patrick Mahomes won that year, but who was second place? Please remind me. Oh,
Exactly.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
He does have MVP level seasons. That's the thing. Here's the yes, the MVP winner obviously had an MVP level season. What people failed to comprehend, though, is there are multiple people that have MVP level seasons every year. There's a reason there's multiple candidates. Like, and Jalen Hurts has had MVP level seasons, even if he's never won the award. Like, he's played in that tier before.
Yeah. John says, what if he stayed at Oklahoma, though? I guess we'll never know. Yeah, I mean, it's a good what if. Let's see. Joe Burrow. I feel like this is very simple. Summit King.
Yeah.
Now, ESPN did put the Bengals as the 9th best starting lineup in the NFL. But then they also factored in like Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart being there. I kind of think it happens somehow. Like, I feel like Mike Brown, whether he like hits his head getting out of bed one day and goes, "Oh yeah, I'm being an idiot. Let me just get these guys signed." Somehow those two are in Cincinnati. I think Hendrickson might be something like week 1 they play, and then like midweek they're like, "Oh, Hendrickson and the Bengals agree to a deal." I think Stewart does happen at some point this offseason. This might get messy, but it eventually happens, I think.
Say, when opposing offenses are looking like a prime James Harden dropping 35 a game, I'm sure that at that point they'll be like, "Hey, wait a minute, Trey, come back. We need you."
Yeah, that's what I kind of think happens as well. But the offense should be prolific once again.
The Bengals will be a lot of fun in the sense that every game will be a shootout.
All right, let's see. So next up, we have old Joe Flacco.
Clipboard commander.
The Browns. I had to remember what team he was on. So Joe Flacco is listed as the starter for the Browns. So that's how we're using him here. I know some would say, what about Shador or whatever, but go with Joe Flacco.
Shador, Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, Shador Sanders, clipboard commander.
Yeah. Look,
like there's
love Joe Flacco. Like the story about him getting off the plane, going with Cleveland and leading the playoffs was a great story, but like Joe's 40 something now. Like it's
Joe goes through hot stretches, which is why it worked out. Like he can get hot for like 3-4 weeks. But if you're asking him to start an entire season, then it's going to be an absolute disaster.
Yeah. Okay. Josh Allen. I feel like it's another easy one. Summit King.
Yep. No argument for me.
Yeah. We've seen the past couple of seasons, we've seen him cut down on the interceptions. Like, he's primed for another good season. Justin Fields. Now with the Jets, new coach and everything. He's got Garrett Wilson, his college teammate and everything like that. What are we looking at?
The connection between him and Garrett Wilson, QB purgatory. The connection between him and everybody else, clipboard commander. Like, I just don't think Justin Fields is that good. Like, I get the Bears not being able to pull something out of him because they're just kind of a poverty franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't even look that good in Pittsburgh. And I don't want to hear that, well, he won games. Yeah, so did Kenny Pickett. But that didn't make Kenny Pickett a good quarterback. I think Justin Fields is, well, I think at best he's QB purgatory. But there's a very real chance that he's just a clipboard commander level quarterback. Like, I will give him a little, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, though, and I'll go QB purgatory.
And that's why I'd put him. Once again, when I'm thinking purgatory is like average, whatever. But I think one thing that could work in his favor, apparently the Jets are trying to get him to run a little bit more, use his legs, which for some reason I feel like he's reluctant to do so, even though he is a very athletic quarterback. So, maybe we'll see a lot of, RPO type stuff. I don't know. I think Justin Fields could have a good season, but it is the Jets, so you never know because Jets and quarterbacks just, for whatever reason, they just never seem to do well in New York. They always do better once they leave. But John agrees with us. Fields in purgatory. Lamar Jackson, like I said, even as the resident Lamar hater, I'm maybe this is my own channel. I might put him clipboard commander just for the laughs, but obviously got to put him as a Summit King 2-time MVP. We all understand.
Absolutely. No question.
Yeah.
I'd say, and I think, yeah. That's almost all the Summit Kings. There's only one more name to go in that category. And
right. And look, ESPN has Baltimore as the best starting lineup in the league, so could he be in line for a third MVP? I guess we'll see.
Can see it.
All right, so now we're getting to some fun names here. Trevor Lawrence.
QB purgatory.
Yeah. This is a big season for Trevor Lawrence.
Make or break.
There's a lot of people who are like coming to the side of the street of doubting whether or not he's actually that good. He was a number one pick coming off of a title year at Clemson, but he's now years removed from the Urban Meyer year, which was a pass for him. Now he kind of has to get it together.
He's good. Like, he's a good quarterback. The problem is, coming out of college, people said he was going to be generational. Yeah. He's not generational. He could be in the line for a Super Bowl. I mean, like, he can buy a ticket just like everybody else.
Right, yes. unless that was a Lamar comment, which...
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Lamar could be in line to buy a ticket just like everyone else. Like,
I mean, I swear, if he gets a third MVP and they're an early exit in the playoffs, I am going to be the last person you will want to hear from because I will go crazy.
On the flip side, though, Kyle, imagine if they actually did win a Super Bowl.
I will still go crazy because I'm going to be the one to burst Ravens fans' balloons because there are certain franchises that if they ever win a title are just going to be insufferable. Ravens might be at the top of the list. Jets are another one. If the Jets ever won one, I might go into solitary confinement for like 2 weeks. I couldn't do it just to listen to them. I can't. So the Super Bowl comment was about Lamar. Yeah. He peaked in college, talking about Lawrence. Yeah, which I mean, that happens for a lot of people. But yeah, he was supposed to be Andrew Luck. He was supposed to be Peyton Manning, and he's turned into just a guy. And ESPN had a good stat about him. They're like, if you closed your eyes and looked at Daniel Jones stats and Trevor Lawrence stats, they're actually kind of similar, which that's a rough indictment for Trevor Lawrence. But something to look forward to as the season gets underway. All right, this is your guy. Jordan Love.
Oh, Summit King. Franchise fire starter.
And I feel like Jordan Love also is kind of getting some disrespect with some of these lists as well. Like, you have people who have like moved Jordan Love to like middle of the pack quarterback in terms of their like rankings and stuff. And I feel like Jordan Love has a lot of talent, like you said. A jag, pun intended, absolutely. You see what I was doing there. Um,
No,
but yeah, I think Love definitely has the talent, and I think the Matthew Golden pick is going to be great for Jordan Love this season. Obviously, he's a rookie, so it's going to take some time to adjust. But I think once they get that connection together, I think Jordan Love's in for a good season this year.
I think he's in for a great season too. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I'm here for it. He's going to be a guy that he's going to surprise people if they're not paying attention to him.
Yeah.
He tends to go on these heaters late, but I think this year he could very well go on another one. He looked solid in that opening week against the Eagles before he suffered the groin injury, which hampered him the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then he got hot late again. So I think when it comes to J Love, I think he's going to easily be a top 10 quarterback in the league this year.
Yeah. And look, daily fantasy or fantasy football advice. When we hit Toyotathon season, Jordan Love is your guy. It's still one of the fascinating things to see, but you know. All right. Patrick Mahomes, which obviously he would be the 5th Summit King, even though a lot of people are sliding him down lists each and every year. But you have to think Super Bowl, how it went, motivated Patrick Mahomes. Like, yeah, he's still a Summit King.
Yeah, I think
Toyotathon love is real. Absolutely.
hey, when 10 touchdowns and 2 interceptions last year as soon as Toyotathon started. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, he just turns it up. When it comes to Patrick Mahomes, like if you're predicting on if he's going to be the best quarterback in the league next year, he probably isn't going to be. But at the same time, like he's the best, right? It's kind of like how the best player in the league isn't the best individual player every year.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like I think the lowest, if you're trying to predict how he's going to be next year, like the lowest you're going to put him is 4th.
Yeah.
Like he's still a Summit King, regardless of what you're trying to do. If you're just saying overall who are the best quarterbacks in the league, number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Even if you're trying to predict how good he's going to be next year, I don't think you can name more than outside of Burrow, Allen, and Jackson. Like after that, I don't think any of the guys behind him are probably not gonna do better than him.
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely agree with that. So John has Baker as a fire starter on the verge of the summit. Okay. Like I have Baker as a franchise fire starter as well. I'm also, I guess, somebody who maybe likes Baker more than most. But I mean, do you agree with Baker as a franchise fire starter?
Yeah, I'm okay with putting him as a fire starter. I don't think he's like verging in on the summit. I think he's closer to the purgatory than the summit, but I definitely think he's solidly in the like right with the rest of the guys that we have in franchise fire starter. He looked absolutely terrific with the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm. So John says if you put Baker on any of those teams you got listed for Summit Kings, their records would look the same, maybe one less win.
Problem with Baker, he's just way more inconsistent than all of them, and that's just always what kind of plagued him.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, when he's going though, he's fun to watch.
When he's going, he looks like a Summit King. The problem is like even like a down game from like anybody we have up top is nothing like a down game for Baker Mayfield because like when it's going good, it's great, but when it's bad for Baker, he's throwing like 4 picks and 3 of them are the worst thrown balls you've ever seen. Like, like the best version of Baker can compete with anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So we got JJ McCarthy, which even though it's his second year, I feel like we basically have to put him in the rookie group because we haven't seen him play yet.
I do think I do agree with Jory. I think his floor is just lower. The teams would
Yeah.
be worse. When it comes to JJ McCarthy, I think at best right now you put him in QB purgatory. Obviously, we'll just throw him in the rookie group for now. But I think if I couldn't put him in rookies, I definitely
Mhm.
think he'll be better than a clipboard commander. But I haven't obviously seen anything from him, so I wouldn't feel comfortable putting him as a franchise fire starter. I think he will be good enough though that I think he'll be right up there with some of these guys listed. Like I think he'll be better than Sam Darnold. I think he'll be
Mhm.
better than Justin Fields. I think he very well could come in and just kind of put up Trevor Lawrence type stats right away to start.
I mean, that's where I would have put him if I didn't put him. You know what? We'll put him there. We'll show JJ some love. It is his second year. We don't want to put him with the
I,
rookies.
I will I will give everybody an honest answer. I won't put anybody in. I won't put any of the rookies in rookies. I'll try to go for it.
Okay. Yeah. We can do that. Kyler Murray. Uh, the talent's there. A lot of questions about in between the ears and the dedication and all that in the heart.
Purgatory.
Yeah. He's another guy. Look, Trevor Lawrence, important seasons for them. Like the Cardinals were the biggest tease last year because remember, they won that opening week game against Buffalo. And everybody's like, oh, this is a different Kyler Murray, different Cardinals team. Get to the end of the season, where were they?
In
What were they, like 6 wins, if that?
in the words of the great Matthew Godfrey, the first 4 weeks will lie to you.
They absolutely will. Yeah. Bo Nix, John has him as a fire starter. I will, wildly admit I missed the boat on Bo Nix. I did not think he was gonna have the rookie year that he did. Is this a Call of Duty year? Yes. Yeah, there's a Call of Duty coming out at the end of this year, I
Rip.
believe.
Bo Nix is interesting because,
He
like,
is.
I think he's a franchise. I think I'm okay putting him in franchise fire starter, but I do think he'll take a step back. I I think he kind of took the league by storm. I think there's going to be more film on him this year, so I'm okay putting him in that franchise fire starter category. Though he was terrific last year.
And that defense definitely makes it easier for him as well.
Oh yeah,
Like that defense is going to be really good again this year. Let's see. Michael Penix, the man who's causing all the headaches for Kirk 2 Chains in Atlanta. I'm assuming purgatory for him.
yeah, purgatory at best. I could also see him being like clipboard commander level quarterback. I'm also just not high on Michael Penix, but we can go with purgatory.
Oh, Dak Prescott.
Oh, he. This might be the biggest enigma on this list, honestly.
Yeah, we said
Like,
like Rodgers was tough to place. Dak is another one.
like on one hand, like Dak is actually still like a good quarterback, but
Mm-hmm.
is he really a franchise fire starter at this point? He puts up numbers.
Guess who faces the Broncos defense first? Yeah. Hey, look, Cam Ward's
Say,
gonna hit the ground running.
I'd probably give Dak his respect enough to still put him under fire starter. I'd probably rank him higher than a lot of people, but he's
Jerry Jones would
interesting.
probably put him here at this point.
Jerry Jones would make his own category. I can even imagine Jerry Jones making tiers.
Oh yeah. I mean he's dogging Micah. That was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. He's like, just because Simon doesn't gonna have him. He's out for 6 games last year. I love how the correction was like he missed 4 games last year, but not in Jerry's mind. Jerry's probably counting 2 games where he had bad stats. It's like, yeah, he didn't even play. So yeah, we'll put Dak there. Like, numbers wise, he's usually up there. They did bring in Pickens. to pair with CeeDee Lamb. So he could have another good year,
So I think he'll have a good year. I think he'll bounce back this year.
or Pickens could be looking to strangle him by week 6. We don't know.
Well, Pickens is looking to strangle anybody by like opening snap of preseason.
Yeah. Brock Purdy, the man got paid, Mr. Irrelevant no more. The pieces around him in San Francisco are a little different.
Yeah, purgatory.
Okay.
I think ranking these quarterbacks, especially Brock this year, I think the pieces have just deteriorated around him too much. Like, obviously Debo left the building.
Mm-hmm.
Ayuk, Torres coming off an ACL tear.
Jennings is unhappy with his contract.
Between me and Christian McCaffrey, we have 2 good ankles, and I have both of them. Like, right. I just don't think there's going to be enough weapons for Brock Purdy to really thrive this year. So that, if he does, good for him. I could see him jumping back into a franchise fire starter, but he's really going to have to prove this year that he's worth the investment, because all those pieces that you had when you were on your rookie deal, yeah, they're gone. So it's all up to you now.
Yeah. Okay. Anthony Richardson, which we've there's really nothing to say. Like he can throw it 70 miles downfield, but 70 yards downfield, but will miss those easy throws. And he's gonna have to come back from the tapping the helmet and taking himself out of the game. The shoulder injury, he's gonna have to prove he's actually back from it. He's got to fight Daniel Jones for the starting job, which in 2025, if you're fighting off Daniel Jones for a starting job, you got some problems.
Yeah, the Colts have maybe the worst quarterback situation in the league. It's really bad.
Yeah.
At least
Jonathan Taylor's going to be in the ice bath every week. Like that man's going to have to carry that offense again.
See, is that Tyler Shuck I see?
Yeah.
You know where to put
Tyler Shuck. Huh?
Said you know where to put him.
I mean, he's saved by the rookie category because, yes, we would probably put him in
clipboard commanders
in the garbage bin. Well, yeah, I mean, do we want to do away with the rookie category and force the rookies somewhere?
I'm okay with either one. It depends how nice we want to be.
We'll do that. We'll put him as a clipboard commander because, like everything, looking in with the Saints, it's like
they're just
he'll start the year. Good chance he doesn't finish the year, and they're all doing this to try to get Arch Manning next year anyway.
Like there's just no way like the Saints will be good this year. Like their only weapon at this point is like Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Like I'm so unmoved by the Saints.
Yeah, John, we're taking the rookie category out. We're gonna place the rookies where they deserve to go. The rookie, I guess, is a bit of a cop out. We're not taking any shortcuts here.
Nope, not doing that.
Geno Smith. I'm assuming purgatory.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just don't really have much to work with when it comes to throwing the football outside of his 2 tight ends. I think he'll have a fine year, but it'll be like a safer year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like Brock Bowers and I like Michael Mayer, but we get outside of that, and when I look at the depth chart and it's like, oh, and the wide receiver 1, Jacoby Myers, like, yeah, no, throw the whole offense away.
I mean, another fantasy football tip: Bowers and Mayer. Yeah, you might want to go there. Especially Bowers. Like Bowers is going to go early, but Mayer, don't sleep on Mayer.
Wide receiver 2.
All right, Matt Stafford. Now, we were told earlier if we put Matt Stafford in the summit, somebody's coming for the briefcase. I don't think we're putting him up there. I mean, I feel like he's a franchise fire starter.
He absolutely is a franchise fire starter.
Yeah.
Everybody who plays with Stafford gets better. Stafford had his best season with them. Say we watched Cooper Kupp have literally his only like seemingly elite season with him. Puka
Mm-hmm.
came to obviously got drafted and he's playing his best ball with Stafford. Obviously, he's only like a year or two into his career, but he's playing phenomenal with them. Like he has a way of elevating offenses and wide receivers. He can still make any throw. So, I still think he's in that B tier. He's in that franchise fire starter category.
Yeah, they got him Devontae Adams. We'll see. I'm sure Adams would love catching passes from Stafford as opposed to Rodgers last season. Like he'll notice the difference. So yeah, I feel like that was an easy placement there. CJ Stroud. Now, rookie season CJ Stroud, franchise fire starter. Second season, probably purgatory guy. What are we expecting season 3 for CJ Stroud?
Oh gosh, like talent wise, fire starters with the supporting cast he has, probably purgatory. Like I don't like the supporting cast. Like I like him, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't like the supporting cast that they've surrounded him with. I'll give him the respect I think the talent deserves. I don't mind going franchise fire starter with them, but I'm also just not high on the Texans offense. So, what do you think, Kyle? This might be up to you to break the tie here.
I'm still kind of a Stroud guy, but I agree with you. The wide receiver group, especially around him, with no Tank Dell, they'll take a step back. The old line that they like dismantled and then rebuilt on the fly. I don't know if I buy into that group necessarily either. The defense will help a little with their pass rushing ability to probably give him some short fields, but I
Yeah,
feel like we'll see more year one Stroud than necessarily last year, even though last year, late in the year, he started to play a lot better. But yeah, I think he's a fire starter for sure. Uh, now we got Tua, another guy who needs a big year, health wise and for other reasons. John says, Purgatory, did they do anything this off season? Do they even show up in cold weather? It's probably no to both. I'm fine putting him in Purgatory. I feel like that's where he probably
I mean,
deserves to
at
be.
best, he's purgatory.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely think this is the year that they move on from Tua after, and Mike McDaniels probably gets fired. It's going to be a lot of changes in Miami after the season.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Texas Clouds, CJ Stroud, Titans by 10. We're applying to NFL now. I like that. I mean, look, I guess quick tease here. You guys know Jory and I do a show on Fridays. When we get to predictions, I think the AFC South will be an interesting conversation for sure. Purgatory for Mr. Turn the Ball Over. Yeah. I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised if Miami's not looking for a quarterback next season. Like Tua is at that point with me for Miami. All right, Jory, this one close to your heart. Cam Ward. So John says fire starter, summit in 3 years. I love the enthusiasm there, John. Look, I think if you're looking at where Tennessee is, he's going to have Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett, who I love. I love Tyler Lockett as a secondary receiver. I think Lockett could be. I would not be shocked if Lockett wasn't Ward's like favorite receiver to throw to. Lockett's just that kind of guy. He's obviously not. I'd put him higher than these guys as clipboard commanders. If only because he's a rookie, you wanted to put him here. I could see that. I don't think John or Jory saying fire starter. I don't think that's that big of a stretch.
I don't think he's jumping up to fire starter this year. I think that Cam Ward will eventually get there, but I don't think it's this year, and I don't think there's enough weapons around him for him to do that. I think the talent's there,
Mhm.
but I'm like looking at a depth chart with Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett. Like, I don't even know who Calvin Ridley is at this point anymore. His
I
run
mean,
game
Ridley,
is
even
Tony
with
Pollard and Tajee Spears. Like,
gotta
yeah,
remember, as Jory said, Traylon Burks is so actually maybe Traylon. Like, what if Traylon Burks has some crazy year because Cam Ward actually does like Traylon Burks? That would be hilarious to me.
I think we're gonna see like a progressive, like he's gonna be purgatory with like flashes of fire starter, and then the Titans will really upgrade his weapons next year, and then we'll see him kind of get into that B tier next year. But I think for now I would put him in purgatory for this year.
It's okay, Jory. You're allowed to be delusional. It's fine. Like,
Hey,
it's your team.
he's got the best wide receiver in the league in Traylon Burks, the best running back in the league in Tony Pollard and Tajik Spears.
The man's living the life. I mean, I agree. Like, I think he could start here by the end of the season, like really start fringing upon this group. I don't think that's crazy.
Hey, you know what's fun about making this too? We can just kind of update it as the year goes on.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah. I will keep this record and maybe like every few weeks we'll, bring it back up and shift it around and everything like that. Have a feeling that these three are gonna stay here, but uh Caleb Williams. And I saw an interesting story today that the Bears thought about JJ McCarthy over Caleb Williams.
of course they did.
Exactly. Like that's such a Bears thing to think, but
The undisputed number one pick in the draft. Yeah, we might go JJ. Okay, Bears.
well,
Of course
remember
they did.
JJ was that because every year there's that quarterback that just shoots up boards through the process. JJ McCarthy was the guy that year, so
Now,
I guess they were trying to get ahead of the curve, I guess. But
I gotta
uh,
say,
yeah, go ahead.
I gotta stay committed to the bit when it comes to Caleb Williams because when we ranked them, I had him as a top 10 quarterback. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to put him in franchise. I have to put him in franchise fire starter. I think they've upgraded their O line. They upgraded, they're coming back with a lot of the same receivers. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the receivers last year were good enough. I think Caleb was good enough. I think the running back room was good enough. I just think that the line wasn't. But they made a concentrated effort to upgrade that this year. So I think Caleb's going to have a fantastic year.
I mean, look, the Bears made a lot of smart decisions, and they seem like they're poised for a good year. I mean, I've seen some people talk about double-digit wins for them, playoff team, and if they're going to do that, Caleb Williams is going to have to play at a fire starter level. John says Williams is purgatory knocking on fire. And look, I think if you put him in either one, you could make a valid argument for both. All right, final two. I'm gonna steal this from Jory because Jory says is a Reverend Jameis and Pastor Russ. We got Russell Wilson now, who I guess is being tasked with saving Dayball's job right now because Dayball has to make the playoffs if he wants to keep his job. Well,
I
Russ, do
I
you have it in you?
I think they'll be no matter who the quarterback is for the Giants, you're just going to get slaughtered. Like
Mm-hmm.
Russ is probably just chilling. He's in a weird spot, right? Because I want to go, well, he has more talent than the clipboard commanders. But I also, the Giants have literally the hardest schedule in the NFL. So, like, he's probably like the upper echelon of like clipboard commanders. But if you want to be nice and throw him in QB purgatory, I'll leave that up to you, Kyle. Because I don't care who's the quarterback for the Giants, it is not going to go well.
I mean, I feel like he's a clipboard commander because he's not gonna play the whole season. Like they're going to turn to Jackson Dart at some point this season.
Say Russ Moonballs the Malik Neighbors.
I was just about to say, early in the season, Malik Neighbors might be a fantasy guy to go with because Russ did it last season in Pittsburgh. He threw those moonballs to Pickens like every other play. He's just going to do the same with Neighbors, and Neighbors is a very talented receiver. But yeah, I think clipboard commander is where he should be. All right, final quarterback,
QB
Bryce
purgatory.
Young.
QB purgatory.
I mean, and look, if you did this last year, Bryce Young probably would have been down here. But I think the way he ended last season, he is showing a lot of promise. They brought in Ted McMillan. I think they re-signed Adam Thielen, who is Adam Thielen had like a sneaky good season last year for being however old he is now. But I think
And
Carolina's going to be a team that you'll hear a lot of people picking as a potential dark horse in the NFC South. Only because, I mean, depending how you feel about the Bucks and the Falcons, it's not like insurmountable to think that the Panthers couldn't sneak in there and win the division. But
I
I
think
think,
the most
I think we'll get a good Bryce Young year.
I think the most important thing for the Panthers is they just got to shore up that. Yeah, they got to shore up that run defense. If I remember correctly, Derek Brown got hurt for them early, and it just kind of hampered that run defense. I saw Brown is going to be healthy, so you know what? I do agree with QB purgatory. I think they could be. I think they could be a fun team to watch. I don't think they'll have a great year, but I think they could have show flashes. Watching Young and McMillan grow together will be a treat.
Yeah, like NBA, you do who's those league pass teams like Sunday Ticket. Like the Panthers could be a Sunday Ticket type of team.
Oh, there we go. Next week we can do tier list by watchability.
I kind of like that. I do like that. Yeah, we definitely do that. That would be a fun one as well.
I feel like that'd
make
be a
note of that.
Method of torture. Hey, you got to watch the Saints today. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I'm liking that even more. Yeah, we're gonna do that next week. There you go. There's the tease for next week. Watchability. We're gonna rank the teams that way. Also, side note, the Sunday Ticket thing. Have you seen this story that the NFL is like selling? It was trying to sell Sunday Ticket and NFL Network to Disney, meaning ESPN would, I guess, own those properties. And I guess the NFL is going to negotiate it in a way that they'll have like a stake in it or something like that. But that could be an interesting move because I don't know if you've been watching ESPN, they keep teasing like a new ESPN this fall, which is their streaming service. They're coming out like with some brand new streaming service in the fall. And if they were to get Sunday Ticket, I wonder if that would be something in the future plans, which I hope would lead to a reduced price. Because I think that's been everybody's biggest problem with Sunday Ticket. It costs crazy amounts of money. Also, they don't offer like a single team option, which would obviously be a cheap option. I hope that would be part of the future of Sunday Ticket. But yeah, that's like something going on in the news that ESPN is trying to acquire the NFL Network and Sunday Ticket.
Yeah, it's absurd. Like the price of Sunday Ticket. That's why I don't bother with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish I could get it, but there's
Yeah.
only like so many subscription services I can have, and I get NBA League Pass and WNBA League Pass every year.
Mm-hmm.
Can't afford any more league passes.
Yeah. Which I mean, WNBA League Passes is very cheap.
Oh yeah.
Which I wonder if it's going to stay that way with the new TV deal.
It'll probably went up last year from like 25 to like 35. I'm guessing it'll keep going up.
Yeah. John said Disney, through its ESPN Plus streaming service, was in contention to acquire. Yeah, I remember that. They were trying to get Sunday Ticket last year, but lost to YouTube TV. So that would be my thing. Like, make Sunday Ticket, make a tier for single team option. I don't know how much you would charge for that. I don't even know what would make sense, but if they offered single team tier for like $14.99 a month, I feel like fans would jump all over that.
Oh yeah. But it's the NFL, so it'd be like, yeah, single team tier, $100.
Right. You'll get inside access. What if I just want to watch the game? Like,
inside access is just Booger McFarland on his crane.
yeah, like, yeah. So we'll see what comes of that. Also, I'm like the new ESPN streaming service. I'm kind of interested to see what that looks like because they're talking about like even more live events and traditional programming and everything like that as well. But I guess getting sidetracked. So yeah, this is the tier list. This is the finalized one. I will put this up on the Wire to Wire page after the show. So if you do, I guess, want to reference it, you can leave a comment or whatever. As Brett said, once the season starts, we'll look at this every couple of weeks and see if we need to shift it around. Next week, we're doing team watchability. That's going to be fun.
I will say we might have to change the name of QB Purgatory to avoid confusing people.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to think that the Titans, for example, are in purgatory because they have Cam
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to think of something that meant like maybe like an average quarterback. Purgatory is seen as like whatever, but I'll come up with a different name for that. But yeah. So once again, Summit Kings, we left it with 5 guys, which I feel like people will be fine with. Hurts, Burrow, Allen, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes. Much like most of our list, the middle 2 tiers get most of the players, and I feel like that's about right. That's how it should be. And then your bottom dwellers, you got Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson, and Tyler Shuck. I hate kicking down the Saints whenever we do these, but that's just how it's looking right now for the Saints. And look, once again, when we do watchability, the Saints will probably be at the bottom again. Like I don't know what to do with them.
I don't hate kicking on the Saints because like the Saints put themselves in that position, right? Like
that's true.
Picking on the Saints. The Saints have done this themselves. Like they keep I don't know why they keep trying to do this, but what they really need to do is take a year or two, just suck, and more importantly, they need to clear the board of all this extra salary and get themselves into a spot where they can, rebuild through young talent and potentially, eventually sign like high-end free agents. But instead, they keep like moving money around to go all in on the most average free agents, and it creates average results. Like they just need to take a year or two. Do what the Packers did. Take a couple of years, just stock up on young talent and just let it play out. If you suck for a couple of years, great. If you just happen to, make the playoffs while doing it, like, cool. Like, but most importantly, they just need to clear the board and restart.
And I guess the hope would be if they were going to do that, like this would have been the bottom out year. And if you do get Arch Manning next year, then it's like, okay, now we're taking off with Arch Manning, rebuilding that way. I would first have to see if they end up getting Arch Manning, because wouldn't it be a Saints thing if like week 18 they win some meaningless game and miss out on Arch Manning, and then Saints fans will really lose their mind. But Jory says, y'all put Jalen and Lamar up there. Folks act like you can't do it. Well, that's why we aren't running with narratives. We're just keeping it like it is. Stop kicking the can down the road. Yeah, and the fact that they've been doing it this long, and we've been talking about the salary cap problems with the Saints for this many years, is kind of wild. But
right, it made sense to do it obviously when you had Drew Brees, but that man's been retired for 6 years now. Like you should have done this a while ago.
So, but hey, that's the Saints for you.
Jags vs. Colts be the least watched game if it's on a schedule.
The Trevor Lawrence versus Anthony Richardson. Yeah, that's the quarterback matchup you need next year.
The movable force meets the resistible object.
Kamara's been the issue. I mean, Kamara's part of the issue, but they have like other high-priced guys still on that roster for some reason.
They had an article, like a list of trying to rank every team's best players, and when the Saints' best player they ranked was 36-year-old Demario Davis.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the problem, too. Like, you just have a bunch of expensive vets and not really any high end, like, young blue chip talent.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, your one blue chip talent was, I guess, Chris Olave, but they were like making sure to throw him medicine balls so he just continuously got pummeled until he had like 3 concussions. So,
Yeah.
like, there's so many issues with the Saints, but in all reality, it just starts from the top. Like, at some point, you have to just look and go, "Yeah, this ain't working. We just got it. We got to start over."
Mm-hmm. They should put Jacksonville, Indy, and London at 7 a.m.
I feel like that's got to be like a declaration of war at that point. Like,
I mean, well, Jacksonville, I'm pretty sure they do have a London game again this year. I mean, I'd hope it isn't the Colts, but yeah, that would be rough to subject those fans to that. I mean, it's tough enough subjecting them to the Jags, but the Colts too, yeah. Oh, when the Saints go marching in and out of every game with an L.
hey, they had that really good 4 weeks, and then that was it. Okay, let's
Yeah,
see.
didn't the Saints start the season well last
They
year?
started out
I
4-0,
remember
and then it fell off a cliff.
it was like Shaheed was like catching touchdowns every week on like deep bombs, and it was like, oh, here come the Saints, and then that ended real quick.
So our
Browns versus Vikings,
international
Jets versus Broncos.
Jags and Rams. Okay,
Oh yeah,
see,
yeah.
that's good.
Okay. That's right, because I was looking at the primetime games earlier today. Because I think one, yeah. Which I mean, one week we will, I guess, look at the primetime schedules because I think it's some interesting games. Maybe we'll do that. We'll tier list like the Monday night schedule, Sunday night schedule. Like, well, I think we're just gonna start doing tier lists like all season. I don't know.
I
Yeah, they
well,
started whooping the Cowboys. Yeah, that's right.
I know I'm going to be if the ticket prices drop, I might have to actually hit up that week 2 game. For week 2 Thursday night football, it's Commanders Packers, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it'll be a great game to watch. So I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, look, Thursday night football got a bad rap for the like early years, but last year wasn't bad. This year looks like they have some really good games.
I think it's just because they like kept giving us terrible matchups
Yeah.
on Thursday night football year after year. It's like, hey guys, do you want to watch Jaguars Texans? Like, no,
Yeah.
I don't. Like, hey, do you want to watch Derrick Henry stiff arm every secondary player into an oblivion? Like, I mean, at least that's fun, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
that was the best part about the Thursday night games. It was just watching Derrick Henry stiff arm every Texans cornerback into the ground.
Let's see.
How do the Browns get one?
Primetime games. How did the Browns get one? Yeah.
If you would
Which
have
one did
drafted,
the Browns get?
oh, if you would have drafted Shedeur Sanders, you would have gotten one. The worst part is, like, that might have been the most accurate statement of this entire show. If the Titans would have drafted Shedeur, they would have gotten a primetime game.
Sadly, yeah. Which is kind of crazy. Actually, which game do the Browns have? Why am I not seeing them?
Wait, the Browns have a primetime game? Who are they playing in primetime?
Right.
That sounds awful. I don't think they have any primetime.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the Browns on the primetime schedule.
The Browns probably will start 1-0, and that'll be the funniest thing ever. Can you imagine? Listen, hear me out. If there's a defense that offense can score on, why not the Bengals in week 1?
Yeah.
I say, and then they'll proceed to get slaughtered, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's right. The Derrick Henry 99-yard run was on a Thursday night.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, they don't have a primetime game.
I was really worried that they did. Oh,
The Colts do have one. Yes,
who
they
thought that was a
have.
good idea?
This may surprise you. They have.
Colts
Okay.
49ers is a primetime game?
Yes,
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't wish that game on my worst enemy.
and it's a Monday night game. December 22nd. So Christmas week, they're giving you Niners Colts.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
just
in
mean.
and it's in Indy too.
Yeah, hey, Daniel Jones versus the depleted 49ers roster. Like,
Yeah.
I that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Honestly, that just sounds. You know what's funny though? That sounds like one of those awful games that'll just turn out to be really good. Like,
True.
it'll
Yeah.
probably end up being an overtime game because neither team can score, and it'll just end up being like a 13-10 thrilling overtime victory by total accident.
Right. That is probably what happens. But yeah, I mean, look, we made it to the end of the show. That's all we have. I'd rather and look, Tennessee, Houston. Like if Cam Ward does kind of what we said, start off slow and then work his way and become like a fire starter level quarterback, maybe late in the year, they flex out some game and give you Tennessee, Houston. I think there'll be some opportunities to flex out a game or two here. Because I'm sorry, Sunday Night Football, Week 16, Bengals, Dolphins, I don't need to see that. You can flex that out right now. Like, don't even waste time with that. Or the week before, you get Vikings at Cowboys on Sunday night. Flex one of them out.
Yeah, I feel like at that point in the season, like the Dolphins will be well out of contention.
Yeah.
Either the Cowboys or the Vikings will be out of contention. One of the two. Like, yeah, I don't know how great those games will be, but you know what? Vikings and Cowboys still might be good. Actually, both teams might still be in contention for something. So,
yeah, maybe like a wild card type match up there.
That
That'd be the best thing. Yeah.
That could have wild card implications, but like a Dolphins game at the end of the year when it's colder out, like that game better be in Miami is all I'm saying to even have a chance to be competitive.
Yeah, the Bengals Dolphins game is in Miami.
Okay, there we go. It's going to be terrible, but at least like the Dolphins might accidentally do something then.
Mm-hmm. So, Jory, there's hope for a Houston, for a Tennessee primetime game. We'll just have to see how the season plays out. But go ahead.
No, flex out that Monday Night Football game right now, big dog. I don't need Colts 49ers.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, we'll see if that one stays on the schedule. But as we're getting out of here, Brett, if you want to let them know what people can look forward to coming up here on Wire to Wire, let them know.
Yeah, we'll catch Mo and I in about 15 minutes. We'll be chilling, talking some wrestling. It's going to be a great time. We're definitely looking forward to it.
There you go. Get caught up as they are on the road to SummerSlam now.
Absolutely.
So if you want your wrestling fix, tune in to Meaty Boys here in a little bit, and they'll get you caught up. For me, I'll be back on here Friday with Jory, as she put in the comments. Might get a rant about primetime games Friday. So there you go. Something to look forward to. But make sure you do come back next week, Tuesday, where we will be doing our tier list for watchability for the teams. And it's going to be fun. You'll see which teams we have as must-see versus the teams we're changing the channel on. And we'll obviously want your input as well when we do that one next week as well. Make sure that you do like the stream and follow or subscribe Wire to Wire. That way you keep up with all the other shows here on the network. You got Meaty Boys next. You have coffee and sports to get you going tomorrow morning, as well as wire to wire tomorrow. So yeah, lot of stuff coming your way. Colts 49ers 9-6 score. Hey, it could very well be. But until next Tuesday, it's a lump of coal. Yeah. For myself and Brett, we're going to get out of here. You enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you next week. All right.